How is it that the greatest thing a man can ever receive in his life is so not recognized? Maybe that's the word to say. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about being a father. What an incredible blessing. You know, I was 45 years old when I became a father. Why it was a surprise. And it sounds cruel to those who have never had a child, can maybe never have one, never had one. But it opened up my life to have a child. You know, I'll never forget, you know, I've never been a pro-abortionist guy. I just never have been. But I'll never forget our first ultrasound. Wyatt was 9 weeks in the womb. He was 7 centimeters, which is about the size of my fingernail. And we had to do the ultrasound vaginally, where they insert the camera into the vaginal canal. And as the camera was coming through, I don't know if there's a light on there, maybe, I don't know. Wyatt was kind of looking to the side like this, and then he turned his head and got a big smile and danced a little jig like my mom used to do. And my mom had passed away a little more than a year before that. To me, that was God, man. How did that baby in the womb know the little jig my mom danced? And for people who think that babies in the womb aren't human beings, you're out of your mind. I've got the picture of him smiling. He was as big as my fingernail, man. How does somebody even think killing children is okay? It's a woman's choice to kill a child? Come on, man. It's a woman's choice to choose virtue, to have sex with someone she loves, that respects her and cares for her, and if they inadvertently become pregnant, be responsible. That should be a woman's choice. That's a woman's choice I agree with. Now, I'm not saying that it should be legal to kill babies. I'm not saying it should be illegal. I think it's a moral issue. But I think if you do it, everybody should know. I think if someone, especially young, is going to go have an abortion, I think they should do an ultrasound and see that baby's heartbeat and look at that baby and watch that baby look at you and smile. You might rethink your decision. You know, I don't know what it's like to be a woman, I don't, but I know what it's like to be a man, and I know that the greatest gift God gives every man is to be a father. And I can't believe how many fail at it. And listen, am I a success? I don't know. I feel more like a failure. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what decisions I make, I don't know if they're right. I think they are. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm a success. I could be an incredible failure, but I know one thing. My biggest fault is loving my child too much. It's what I tell my wife. I'm overprotective, and I hug him every day, and I tell him I love him because my dad didn't always do that. My dad was a great guy. I love him to death. But my dad grew up without being hugged and told he was loved, so it was normal for him to not do that. And I suffer from that, but not because my father didn't love me, but because he didn't recognize the importance of his fathership role in my life. And many fathers don't. Many fathers don't recognize that your child is everything. Right? Men who work hard and want to be appreciated for who they are, and then they have a child who loves and wants to emulate them and be them and will always love everything about them. And then they just kind of shuffle it off. Let mom take care of the child mostly, send the kid to school, see him a little bit on the weekend. Don't do that. If you're doing that, I'm telling you right now, don't do that. No matter what you succeed at in life, being a father is what you should focus on. It's my opinion. I don't mean to sound like I'm telling you what to do, but my God, don't make that mistake. You're not going to regret anything about work or anything about money like you'll regret the fact that you weren't a good father. Tell your son, your daughter that you love them. Hug them all the time. I mean, have heartfelt moments. Because you know what? That's going to build that child, that little boy, that little girl into an incredibly confident, loving human being. It is the parents, the foundation of loving parents, that turn children into incredibly successful, wonderful, loving people. When you see people who are not that way, it's the parents that failed them. And it's not hard to fail as a parent. It's not hard. I try my best and I still feel like I fail. But at least I'm trying. I see fathers walk away from children. It destroys everything about them because the one person that they expected to love them the most throws them away. And it's a terrible mistake. I don't care what the reason is, don't do it. I don't care if you had a child with a woman and she has issues. Don't take it out on that child. Do the best you can for them. Children that turn into adults will never recover. They never recover from a bad relationship with parents. They don't. They can become successful. They can have their own family. Some of them are strong enough to overcome and be great parents. Most aren't. Most just do the same as they had because it's what they know. And though they hate it, they still do it. And they wake up every night thinking, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing. Stop the chain of heartbreak and destruction. Stop it. Love your children. Spend time with them. I'm telling you, it's more important than anything else you're doing. I don't care what your career is in. Now, I can speak easily about it. Why? I was already retired. I still do things, but I wasn't locked in a career, so I understand being a young father. I was not a young father locked in a great career that I loved, and that can overwhelm you and make you focus on that, and then your child are an afterthought to give a hug or a kiss or buy a toy. But it's your time. Above all things in life, it's your time that your children want. They don't care how big your house is or how much money you have. I mean, a child would rather live in a box and be hungry, but be held and loved by their father. And again, I don't speak from a woman's perspective because I'm not one. And I would never demean mothers in the lives of their children because they're just as important as a father. But I'm talking to fathers. Don't fail your children because you're failing yourself if you do. Life is tough. You know that. Whatever you do, don't let life be tough for your children because they won't overcome it. Or if they do, it's an incredible challenge. Love them, hug them. You know, it's your time, it's your listening. You know, when a child draws a picture and says, hey, look, Dad, and you look at it and go, oh, yeah, whatever. Do you understand what you've done to that child? You've told them that what they do is unimportant. You're teaching them that no matter what, and as they go through their life, nothing they do is important. But if you look at it and say, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, what is that? Encouraging children, inspiring them to be great, letting them know that you love them and that you always support them. And I'm not saying that you'll always do it. You'll make mistakes and you'll fail. I do it all the time. But if you recognize it, then go back the next day and say, you know what, son, where's that picture? Build your children. Just love them. I know not everybody likes it that I talk about God, but I'm telling you, God is real. And what does God talk about? Of all the things, what is the greatest thing? Love. Love is the greatest thing. It is the foundation to build on. I swamp my child with love because I know as he grows up, he's going to find discontentment and find hatred and find anger. I teach him about violence because he'll probably face it in his life. But above all things, I teach him to be kind, to listen, to be respectful, and to love others. And how can I teach him that and make it seem not a hypocrisy if I don't show him how much I love him? Fathers, love your children. Be there for them every minute. They love you beyond words. They'll emulate behavior that you show them, whether it's right or wrong. If you see your child doing wrong, look at yourself because they're probably doing something that you do and you don't even notice it. I've talked about it before and it's the truth. But God blessing you with a child gives you the chance to make your life right if it hasn't been. It's a chance for you to be the great hero you've always wanted to be, even if you weren't. And it's your chance to shape the lives of a human being. And if we all did that, if we all encouraged and loved and taught love and taught our children to respect one another and be respectful and to be loving, the world would be a better place. It all depends on you, your child's life, their success, their self-worth. It all depends on you. Regardless of how you grew up, you have the chance to make sure your child feels love and will be successful. God loves you. Enjoy your coffee this morning.